Hey everybody, week three, ECBA 307 in the books. This week, hopefully you found it engaging. Um, you had three chapters to read. I think it's chapters 4, 5, 6 that talked about this three-step writing process. It talked about planning business messages, writing business messages, and completing business messages. I've always been a big fan of models, and the reason I have is because if you can get people to buy into a model that has, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, then to me it's much more repeatable. It's something that you can do and remember and go, okay, I've got to plan this, I've got to write it, and then I've got to complete it. And and so as you looked at those things this week, I think it was hopefully important. But the discussion forum this week was kind of interesting, hopefully for you. One of the things I mentioned this in my comment on the discussion forum, so I'm not going to repeat what I said on there. Hopefully you're watching it. But I'm a big fan of communication through stories because I think, first of all, it's much more engaging. Secondly, it's important to you, or you wouldn't either develop that story or use that story. And then my hope is that it causes action on the other end. And so I thought, as I put this together, I thought, wouldn't it be kind of cool if you could just tell your career story? Um, and then see how you communicated that to a group of people who don't know you, um, the other people in the class. And so it was really interesting to look at some of these this week. Okay, the assignment this week talked about the three-step writing process, and my hope is that you really thought deeply about this. The three-step writing process, as I mentioned earlier, is plan, write, and complete. But there are subcomponents under each one of these. I mean, planning involves more than just, planning when you're going to write something. It's like it's 2 o'clock and I got a free hour, so therefore I'm going to write it. That's not what I mean here by planning. That's not what the textbook authors mean by planning. It means you analyze the situation. It means you go out and you gather information. You do the research behind it. You choose a medium and a channel. That's really important. We talked a bit about that last week or 2 weeks ago when you talk about social media. Because you can go out and do a lot of work, but place it in the wrong medium and it never get to your intended audience. So you have to be really careful about that from a planning perspective. And then organize the information in such a way that you're walking your reader down a pathway, or you're walking your listener down a pathway. I always like to think of writing and communication. In most things in a business sense, you're trying to get somebody to say yes, right? You're trying to give them information so at the end they say, yes, I'm going to buy that, or yes, I'm going to accept your proposal. Even in academics, you're writing papers hoping at the end of it the professor says, yes, I like what Jane or I like what Jack put together. So organization of the information is very, very important. And by the way, I'm a big fan of headings, and headings are short headlines. To me, where you can help walk this reader down a pathway and they understand under this particular section is this information, under this particular section is this information. So it's always very helpful. So the planning of it means not planning when you're going to send it, but it means all of those things that I just mentioned. And then writing involves adapting that message to the audience. And then it's the actual composition of the message. And whenever you compose things, I always encourage students to be judicious with your words. I encourage people to make every paragraph earn its place in the paper or the proposal, and then make every sentence earn its place in the paragraph, and then make every word earn its place in the sentence. Too often in business writing, you see people who put way too many words into something and you lose the reader. And once you lose the reader, it's hard to get them back. So that's the second step, right? And then complete. Sometimes you need to revise the message. You certainly need to reread it, produce the message, proofread the message, distribute the message, again, in the right way. Okay? And then you had the quiz this week, and so that was week 3. Hope you had a good week, and if you need me for anything, please reach out. Take care.